7 friends gather for dinner and decide to play a game in which all incoming messages and calls will be on display for the entire group. Welcome back to Movies Explained. Today's film is a comedy drama from 2017 titled Perfect Strangers. The movie begins by introducing 3 married couples. The first couple, Antonio and Anna, are getting ready to join their friends for dinner. However, there's tension in their relationship. Antonio secretly texts someone, while Anna, for unknown reasons, removes her panties after checking her phone. Next, we meet Eduardo and Blanca, the second couple. They've recently gotten married and are deeply in love. You can see how affectionate they are and how happy they seem to be together. Finally, we're introduced to Eva and Alfonso, a couple who are a bit older than the others. They're prepping to host the dinner tonight, but they're dealing with some trouble at home, especially with their 17-year-old daughter, Sofia. Eva found condoms in Sofia's bag, leading to tension between them. Alfonso thinks it's okay for Sofia to be exploring, but Eva doesn't agree with that way of thinking, and this difference in opinion is putting a strain on their relationship with Sofia. In the next scene, we find out that these 3 couples are close friends. They plan to have a gathering to watch the lunar eclipse together, anticipating a night of enjoyment, companionship, and perhaps some surprises. Antonio and Anna are the first to arrive at Eva and Alfonso's house, bringing homemade food. Soon after, Eduardo and Blanca join them. The couples come together, share wine, and engage in conversation. Eduardo can't help but notice Eva's fancy earrings. They all start talking about their buddy Pepe and his new girlfriend Lucila, and they're looking forward to meeting her. They figure Pepe's really lucky to have her. But when Pepe shows up by himself and tells them Lucila couldn't come because she's sick. As they all sit down for dinner, the conversation shifts to Pepe's girlfriend and various other topics. They start talking about how tough it can be to really understand each other. Then, they get into a discussion about how a text message on a phone messed up the life of a woman they know. The text revealed her husband's cheating, throwing her family into chaos. The group is split on who to blame. Some think the woman shouldn't have snooped through her husband's phone, while others think the guy should have been smarter and deleted the message. This debate prompts Eva, the therapist, and Eduardo to compare mobile phones to little black boxes full of deep, dark secrets. They argue that phones pose significant risks and can even destroy marriages. Anna chimes in, agreeing with Eva's perspective. She mentions that her husband, Antonio, never shows her his phone and even takes it to the bathroom. Antonio, upon hearing this, decides to prove his transparency by placing his phone on the table. The group rallies behind him, emphasizing their close friendship and the absence of secrets among them. Shortly after, when the atmosphere starts to become dull, Blanca suggests injecting some excitement by proposing a game. Her idea is that they all place their phones on the dining table, and during the meal, if anyone receives a message or call, they must share it with the group. Initially, some are hesitant about the game, but they eventually agree in the spirit of transparency, placing their phones on the table. Just as they're getting ready to get back to their dinner, a strong gust of wind blasts through the house. It knocks over a vase, smashing it on the floor and causing a bit of chaos. Outside, the dogs start barking and fighting, and they all notice the eclipse beginning to form. Down on the street, there's also an accident happening. All these sudden events throw everyone into a bit of a frenzy. After things settle down and they're back at the dinner table, Eva and Alfonso's daughter, Sofia, shows up. She says hi to everyone and then takes her dad aside for a moment. She asks Alfonso for some money before she heads out to a party at a friend's place. Out of the blue, Eduardo gets a flirty text from a number he doesn't know, and it says, "I desire your body." This catches his wife Blanca off guard and starts a fight between them, especially when Eduardo answers a call from that same number. But then, it turns out to be a joke from Alfonso, which lightens the mood. Once they figured out it was just a prank, they resumed their game. At first, everyone's having a great time with the game, joking around and chatting. But things take a turn when Eva gets a call from her dad and puts it on speaker. He lets slip about Eva's plan to get breast augmentation surgery, and everyone's pretty shocked. Blanca, being a therapist, tells Eva she should be all about loving herself just the way she is. Then, some start wondering why Eva didn't involve her husband in the decision, bringing personal matters to the dinner table. Alfonso reveals that Eva's father disapproves of him and questions his surgical skills, emphasizing the pressure Ava's father exerts to ensure only the best care for his daughter. After a while, Antonio and Pepe step outside for a smoke and notice a partial lunar eclipse. Antonio interprets it as a sign of impending doom, citing Mayan beliefs about its disruptive effects on time and reality. However, Antonio has more on his mind than cosmic events. He confides in Pepe about receiving explicit pictures from a female friend every night at 10 o'clock. Fearful that Ana might discover his secret, he seeks Pepe's assistance. Antonio proposes swapping phones since they have the same brand, hoping to divert the pictures to Pepe's device. Despite Antonio's reassurance that it won't matter to Pepe because he's single, Pepe hesitates to agree, feeling uneasy about the situation. Despite Antonio's emotional appeal, Pepe remains reluctant and heads back inside. Later, they all gather back at the dinner table, and more texts and calls start coming in. Then, Ana accidentally knocks wine over Alfonso, and everyone's attention shifts to that. While they're all distracted, Antonio sneakily swaps his phone with Pepe's without anyone, including Pepe, noticing. Shortly after, Pepe's swapped phone receives a notification. As expected, it's the explicit photo from Antonio's friend on WhatsApp. Caught off guard, Pepe plays along, pretending the photo is for him. They share a hearty laugh, teasing Pepe about the incident without realizing the phone isn't even his. Then, Antonio, holding Pepe's actual phone, gets a text from someone named Lucio, checking in on how he's doing. Pepe sees this and starts to get really anxious, but Antonio brushes it off, saying Lucio's just a workmate. Pepe then unexpectedly goes off about the importance of keeping phones private, which surprises everyone, but they all decide not to respond to Lucio's text and move on. Next, Eva receives a message offering services from a retirement home, which offends Antonio due to his elderly mother living with them. He expresses reluctance about sending her to a retirement home, despite the challenges she presents. Wanting to brighten the mood, the couples head to the balcony to catch a glimpse of the blood moon eclipse and decide to take a group photo with Blanca's phone. When they check the photo, they're all surprised to see that somehow, everyone has vanished from it. As they're getting ready to try for another photo, Blanca's phone buzzes with texts from her ex, which makes Eduardo feel jealous. But Blanca quickly calms him down, explaining that her ex is with someone else now, and just seeks advice from her. Antonio playfully suggests that Blanca should give her ex-Eva's phone number, joking that he could use a therapist instead of an ex-girlfriend. Following this, Sofia rings up her dad, Alfonso, and accidentally lets slip that he was the one who gave her condoms before. She shares how Alfonso always tells her to make smart decisions and stay away from bad influences. Alfonso's clever use of reverse psychology to deal with his daughter's stubbornness catches Eva's attention, making her see things in a new light. Sofia also mentions to Alfonso how Eva never really listens to her, hinting at a change in how things are between them in the family. Then, Antonio receives another text from Lucio on Pepe's phone. This time, he decides to respond since he's still in possession of the phone. He informs Lucio that he's at a party with his friends. However, the situation takes an unexpected turn when Lucio calls, and Antonio is compelled to answer. Lucio erupts into shouting, proclaiming that they're in a relationship. The revelation shocks everyone, leading to assumptions about Antonio's sexuality, unaware that the phone belongs to Pepe. Antonio attempts to defuse the situation by explaining that he and Lucio are colleagues and that, despite his rejections, Lucio has developed feelings for him over time. He talks about how Lucio's been making moves and showing affection, which just ends up making everyone more confused and awkward. Shortly after, Lucio sends another text. This time it's intense, saying, "I miss your kisses." This message bothers Antonio's wife, Ana, and his buddy, Eduardo. Eduardo feels especially upset with Antonio because they've been close since they were kids, even sleeping over at each other's places, and even showered together without Eduardo realizing Antonio's sexual orientation. Things get even more tense when Eduardo's phone rings, and a guy on the other end asks if Eduardo's partner liked the earrings he sent. Eduardo tries to dodge the whole thing, but the cat's out of the bag now. Blanca is totally appalled by this because she doesn't even wear earrings, much less have pierced ears, which just throws a whole lot of doubt and confusion into the situation. Upon hearing Eduardo's phone conversation about the earrings, Alfonso's attention shifts to Eva's ears. He notices that she's wearing earrings despite him never giving her any. This clicks something in Alfonso's mind, making him suspect that something isn't right. Right in the middle of their big argument, Eduardo's phone goes off again, and this time, it's Lola popping up on the screen. Blanca doesn't waste a second. She grabs the phone, and that's when everything explodes. Lola confesses that she is pregnant with Eduardo's child. This bombshell throws a massive curveball into the whole situation, catching everyone off guard. Hearing about Lola being pregnant leaves Blanca totally shell-shocked and heartbroken. She ends up locking herself in the bathroom, trying to deal with this huge blow on her own. In the meantime, Eva takes Eduardo to a different room, where she takes off her earrings and hands them back to him. This moment reveals a hidden truth. Eva and Eduardo have been having an affair, and those earrings were actually a present from Eduardo to Eva. At the same time, Antonio makes his way to the living room to take a peek at Anna's phone. When Anna sees what he's up to, she comes over to find out what's going on. She's caught off guard when Antonio tells her that someone on her Facebook is asking if she has removed her panties. This piece of information just adds another layer of drama and tension to everything that's already happening. Anna insists that the person on Facebook is just someone she knows online, stressing that she's never met them in real life. Antonio, fueled by anger, confronts Anna with a personal and inappropriate demand to know if she's wearing panties and insists she take off her skirt to prove it. Anna refuses to answer or follow his demand, leading to a tense chase around the house between the two. Eventually, Anna gives in to Antonio's demand, showing everyone there that she's not wearing anything under her skirt that night. After the confrontation, Anna leaves the scene, throwing a taunt about Antonio's sexuality on her way out. It's then that Pepe steps up and sets the record straight, revealing that it's actually him, not Antonio, who is gay. He shares how Antonio had pressured him into switching phones. Concerned about the potential repercussions of revealing the truth about Lucio, whom he had disguised as Lucilla, Pepe expresses reluctance to introduce him. He fears that their friend's unusual responses and behaviors could harm Lucio. Blanca comes out of the bathroom after a while and mentions how the game helped make things clearer for her. With that, she takes off her wedding ring and leaves. Meanwhile, Alfonso is still furious about what Eduardo did, confronts him, and ends up slapping Eduardo, sternly warning him never to come back, hinting at serious consequences if he does. After laying down that warning, Alfonso tells Eva he's heading to bed. Antonio and Pepe decide it's time for them to head out as well. Not long after, Eva, feeling bad about the whole game situation, goes out to the balcony. There, under the full-blood moon eclipse, she decides it's time to get rid of what's been causing all their troubles. She throws it out onto the road below, hoping to end the cycle of problems. Out of nowhere, a powerful wind picks up, shaking Eva's house. Once the wind dies down, Eva gets up and sees that the moon has come out from behind the eclipse, lighting up the sky. Confused by the sudden turn of events, Eva returns inside and shuts the door. To her surprise, she finds her husband and friends sitting around the dinner table, acting like none of the earlier chaos ever happened. Eva takes a seat next to her husband and checks his shirt, noticing it's spotless, even though it had wine spilled on it earlier. Eva is baffled by the apparent reset, and she can't figure out what's going on. Pepe then throws out the idea of playing the phone game again, but Eva, worried about the chaos from before happening all over again, confesses she accidentally dropped her phone outside. Everyone starts thinking Eva's acting weird because of her phone. So Pepe makes the call that they won't play the game again, saying it's all in or nothing. Little do they know, Eva is actually relieved. She's grateful for another shot at fixing their friendship after the earlier incident that threatened to tear them apart. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos.